Ladies and gentlemen, on with our next contest, and would you please welcome to the ring from London, Valery Odin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attentions to the screen and prepare to welcome from the real class of 2002, Nottingham's #1, Froch.
They've waited some 10 months for this moment here in Nottingham. And Carl the Cobra Froch boxes after 5 professional contests away from home in front of his family, his friends and his fans. What a record he had as an amateur with the Phoenix Club when he was coached by Dave McPhilbin. 2 ABA titles, 99 and 2001. The first English boxer to win a World Championship medal, and unbeaten as a professional boxer under the tutelage of Robert McCracken. But it's the night for a homecoming, and it's a night for a performance in front of the home crowd. Carl Froch, who's boxed so many times here in Nottingham as an amateur with an amateur vest, now strips off for what is going to be professional contest number 6. And we can hand over to Master of Ceremonies, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is a super middleweight contest scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds between and introducing, firstly in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold, coming from London, weighing in at 12 stone, 9 3/4 pounds. He holds an 11-5 professional record, 6 wins, 1 win, coming by way of knockout with 5 losses. Please welcome Valery Odin. And across the ring, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, wearing his familiar silver snakeskin trunks, he comes from Nottingham and weighs in at 12 stone, 3 pounds. He holds a perfect professional record from 5 contests, 5 wins, 4 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former double ABA champion and a local hero. Please welcome Carl the Cobra Froch. Timekeeper, Mr. Harry Foxall, the referee, Mr. Sean Mesler from Dudley, and this is 8 3-minute rounds.
Once again, give me a clean fight. When I say break, I want you to step back. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Shake hands, come out boxing at the bell.
Terrific atmosphere here in this Nottingham arena. Carl Froch in those familiar snakeskin print trunks against a man whom he's sparred quite a few rounds with in the gymnasium. Born in Guadeloupe in the French West Indies, Valery Odin, boxing now out of Canning Town, has come in at about 48 hours notice. Not that anybody actually dropped out, but it's been very, very difficult to match Carl Froch with any super middleweights in Britain. All the very good ones are rated above him. Joe Pelzaghi, Robin Reid, Glenn Catley, Belfast, Brian McGee, David Starry, and Carl Froch has stated publicly, Richie Woodall, that he wouldn't mind taking on any of them. So he's set his sights pretty high, hasn't he?
He certainly has, but I mean, there's no doubt about it. Carl Froch is he really is a class act, and he's up against an opponent tonight. He won't have to go looking for Valery Odin. Odin fights on the front foot, loves to come forward, doesn't know the meaning of the words going backwards. He's just an out-and-out brawler, if you like, and Froch doesn't want to be standing toe-to-toe with this guy. He just needs to pick his punches and a few side steps, and this guy should literally fall over his shoulder.
Well, Valery Odin comes into the ring having lost his last couple of contests, most recently to decent Welsh prospect Chris Davis. That was in October by just a single point. Odin then weighed almost 13 stones, and he's just over 12'9", so he's 6 pounds heavier than Carl Froch, who stays very close to that 12-stone super middleweight limit, and that's very good conditioning. Boxed all through his amateur career, needless to say, as a middleweight. Odin, big and rough and a little bit careless, and gets himself caught on a fairly regular basis, but he's quite happy to catch 2 or 3 to land one. Froch working to the body. Just a minute to go to the end of the first round. This scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds. Only once has Carl Froch gone the distance, and that was with cruiserweight Paul Thompson. Odin trying to hold on. Froch equally good to body and head, trying to find a way through. And once again, another man from the class of 2002 stable whose hands are held pretty low.
Yeah, his hands are very low, Carl Froch, but you can see why they call him the Cobra, because that left jab of his is so sharp, it really is.
Well, the right hand's pretty tasty as well, and it was that right hand that stopped the Midlands area champion Mike Duffield in just 74 seconds last time out. But here comes Odin, do what he loves to do, coming forward and having a real old go. Froch has to keep his composure. Odin head down, swinging as hard as he can go. And this is going to be a decent test of Carl Froch's defensive skills. And Odin in the last 20 seconds or so showed exactly the characteristics that we've come to expect of him. We've seen him quite a few times, and we've seen this man box professionally on 5 occasions, trained by Rob McCracken. Bit of action from that opening round. Very unorthodox. Odin covers up very nicely there, but that allowed Froch to get right round the corner with a very solid right to the ribs. And Froch, big long arms. He's pretty tall even for a super middleweight, and he boxed well in the retreat, but something like this will not do him any harm, Rich.
No, this will do him the world of good, and as you said, they've sparred together, these guys, so Odin knows all about Froch, and he's keeping that guard nice and high, which is a very wise tactic indeed.
And there's the 28-year-old, trained most of the time by James Cook and by Brian Lawrence. So 3 minutes gone. Odin lasted longer than Mike Duffield, who found himself on the seat of his pants after just over a minute last time out for Froch, just before Christmas in London.
Now this is more like the Valery Odin that we've seen before, Jim. Just keeps coming forward, taking the shots from his opponent, prepared to take risks just to get his own blows home. He's really a rough and tough customer, Valery Odin.
First time we saw him, he had a terrific scrap with a very useful guy, Tox Owo, when he beat Tox Owo, and that was something of a surprise, and we thought this fellow was going to be something of a crowd pleaser. And certainly he's making Froch work, because Froch is having to cover up, and there's a bit of swelling underneath Froch's left eye. Whether that's come from sparring or from this contest, I just don't know.
Yeah, that's better from Froch, picking his punches, because he doesn't want to mix it on the inside, because that's when you are risking a head clash or a cut, and it's better from Froch now, just picking those shots.
Well, they've been through a few rounds together in sparring, but this is an entirely different matter, and Odin is not taking it easy at all. He's making Froch work, and that's what Froch needs.
Hold it, Froch. Sorry.
Solid right to the ribs by Froch, and Odin is swarming all over him. And this really is a good test for Froch, because this fella doesn't really care what happens to him. He's coming storming forward. Good footwork by Froch. I'll tell you one thing, Richie, they may have done a few rounds together in the gym, but there's been no deal done behind closed doors in this one.
No, and it shows you that Froch means business. I mean, they haven't picked an easy opponent here. This guy's a rough house. He really will give anyone a fight in at close quarters at any level. So yeah, I mean, this just shows that how he means business, Carl Froch.
Well, Odin is a genuine light heavyweight. May even get up as heavy as cruiserweight. Lovely footwork by Froch, 30 seconds to go. Haven't seen too much of the silken skills of Froch, because Odin really has kept him on the back foot for most of this. Froch has to keep moving in this one, Richie. If he stands still, Odin is going to swarm all over him.
Yeah, like I said at the start of the contest, he's got to use the sidestep here against this guy. Look, the guy just needs to fall over his shoulder.
That was a little better by Froch at the end. Those solid shots going into the ribs yet again. Again, Froch finishes in command. Hands held very low yet again. Well, he's been a professional for just 10 months. Started in March of last year, stopping experienced Michael Pinnock from Birmingham, who really was a light heavy. But Odin keeps coming forward. He's got the guard tucked up very well, and those solid shots round to the ribs don't seem to be worrying Odin whatsoever. He's in very, very good condition, Odin. The lightest he's been for quite some time. And he's coming straight back at Froch, and though he's rather wild and a little bit unorthodox and sometimes a little bit careless, Froch is having to work pretty hard to cope with him. 10 all that second round, Rich?
Yeah, I thought it was quite close. I mean, literally the work rate and sheer persistence of Odin earned him a share of that round.
Well, they've turned out in force to see Carl Froch, and right from the moment he turned professional with Nick Hennessy in the class of 2002, he vowed as soon as possible to get himself here to Nottingham, and he's done just that. He got himself caught, and this is going to really test Carl Froch, so he's got to keep himself cool. What he doesn't want to do is maybe just stand and trade and risk getting caught with a decent wild shot.
No, he's got to keep hitting and moving, but that was beautiful footwork from Froch just above us. That was excellent stuff. The way he hit his opponent, moved out the way, and then was back on the attack again. Hit to move, that's what he's got to do tonight, Froch.
Bit of swelling underneath Odin's left eye. Froch trying with the uppercut, not coming anywhere close. And Odin really is taking this to Froch. Good footwork by the younger man. Solid left one in from Valery Odin.
You've got to say Odin's tactics are spot on. He knows that Froch has got such a relaxed guard and his hands are very low that he's got to get close to him. He's got to literally crawl all over him, get him on the inside, and that's what he's doing.
Well, midway through the third, and Richie, if you were in Froch's corner, what were you going to be saying to him at the end of this one?
Well, just to keep doing what he's doing, hitting and moving. What he can't afford to do is just stand in front of his opponent, stand still and be static. If he's static, he's going to get caught. But he's fighting the right fight now, starting to hit and move, He's just got to be elusive, Jim.
Well, this is great stuff from Odin in this third round, and Froch on the ropes where he really doesn't want to be. And Odin, amazingly, is hurling, as we probably thought he would, everything at Karl Froch. And what a test this is going to be for Froch in just professional contest number 6. And Odin, no respecter of reputations, and doesn't really care whether this is a sparring partner of his, is having a real crack at him.
Yeah, the more accurate shots are definitely coming from Froch. But the sheer, as I said, the sheer persistence from Odin, this cannot be ignored. He's such a strong guy.
Well, Froch did get him with a good short right, and that's a second short right. And Odin puffing and blowing a little bit. And Froch, his nose reddening ever so slightly, is blowing a little bit himself. They've fought this at a cracking pace. Froch's timing a little bit awry. Just a few seconds remaining to the end of this. Remember, this is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds. Froch has been nowhere near that. Tough round for Froch. May well have picked his man off on the counter, but there wasn't a great deal in that. So that was a very good round for Odin. Froch did catch him. That was the best shot of the round and of the contest as far as Froch was concerned. But he had to take a lot of sustained pressure from Valery Odin. And although a lot of Odin's shots weren't all that desperately accurate, he was forcing Froch onto the ropes and forcing Froch to defend. And Froch will have to start bucking up his ideas a little bit.
Yeah, I'd actually give that round to Odin. I thought his sheer, as I said again, sheer persistence, getting through. The better quality shots are coming from Froch, but the sheer volume of punches for me swayed the round for Odin. There wasn't a lot in it, but Odin for me just nicked it.
Well, there we are. The former world super middleweight champion has given one of the super middleweight prospects 9 points in that round and 10 to his opponent. And the man in the black trunks, trimmed with gold, Valery Odin, based now in Canning Town, has given Karl Froch a pretty torrid opening 9 minutes. Froch has got to get back to his boxing. He's got to learn to keep his man away.
Right! Tidy it up, lads.
And once again, Odin is roughing up Karl Froch.
Yeah, the tactics are spot on from Odin. What Froch has got to do as well, Jim, and if he is going to sit on them ropes occasionally, just get the hands up a little bit, so if there's any punches coming his way, then they're just hitting his arms. But ideally, he doesn't want to be on the ropes. He should command from the centre of the ring, but it's so difficult fighting a man who just keeps swarming all over you.
Well, look how low Froch's hands are, and when he keeps them down, Odin brings them in before Froch has a chance to bring his own hands up, and Odin once again is absolutely working his heart out. A message from the referee to clean this bout up. He said, you're getting paid as professional boxers, let's behave like it. This roughhouse sort of a brawl which could take place in a phone box is right up Valery Odin's street.
Yeah, that's better from Froch. Lovely quality shots there. Good left hook. Oh, beautiful that was.
Good footwork by Froch, although Odin was out of the ring. He wasn't touching the canvas at any stage. And again, Froch not pressing home the advantage. And his main problems, I think, Richie, are stemming from the fact that his hands are held too low.
His hands are very low and very relaxed, but he's definitely getting home with the cleaner shots. But Odin is just such a rough out, he really is. There's elbows flying in there and all sorts. But Froch must stick to his boxing.
There's Odin going in with a head again. Referee didn't spot that. And another little clash. Better now from Froch. Couple of good little jabs. And around the corner right or two. Under 30 seconds to go to the halfway stage, and this is a great test for Froch. Maybe just signs that he's starting to get the measure of Odin, and Odin might be tiring. Body shot going in from Froch, but again Odin is still there in his face. Better by Froch. Back comes Odin.
Keep working! Keep working!
Yeah, inside the glove there again.
A lot of strapping from Odin. And no sign of any recognition, but they have sparred quite a bit together. Froch goes back to the corner. Thus far, relatively unmarked. What another tough, uncompromising round that was. Lovely clean stuff from Carl Froch. Head and body and head, and great footwork by the double ABA champion and World Championship bronze medalist. And that was like a matador and a bull. Wonderful footwork by Carl Froch. It's been a toughie, Rich, for him.
Yes, yeah, but that was classic boxing there. He landed with 3 or 4 good punches, and then he got out of the way of Odin's attack, and Odin just nearly went through the ropes. Lovely boxing there from Carl Froch.
Well, one wonders what the home crowd were expecting
Corners, 10
from
seconds.
Carl Froch. I think they were looking for an early stoppage. It was never going to be that way, given the opponent. This man has given the golden boy of the class of 2002 a tough enough old evening. Round 5, Froch just in front, and Odin is ever looking for an opportunity to step in and crowd his man on the ropes, and there he goes again. Really bullying away as hard as he can.
That's where Froch has got to be. Centre of the ring, commanding with that jab, sidestepping. He must not let himself get onto the ropes. Odin, his tactics, he's got to push, he's got to try and get Froch on the ropes. That restricts his movement.
Froch is doing pretty good work with that left of his, but he's not really been all that desperately accurate with the right. Good high guard by Valery Odin. Signs in the last round that he might have been towering ever so slightly. Froch has got to keep the pressure on him.
There's the tactic there from Froch. Lovely boxing on the retreat, and as Odin came in, as he's back into the ropes, then he holds.
Oh, uppercut from Odin wasn't too far away. Good footwork once again by Froch. Message is defend yourself at all times, and Odin stopped momentarily. Good combination by Froch.
Yeah, excellent boxing from Froch there. 3 and 4 punch combination.
Well, Mick Hennessy getting a little bit agitated at ringside. I haven't seen him so agitated since another one of the class of 2002, David Walker, was stopped just before Christmas. David Walker at ringside.
So that's better. He doesn't need to be in that corner. Odin is so strong. He wants to fight the fight on the ropes in the corners, so he can literally get to Froch. Now Froch has got to move.
Well, Odin is producing a terrific performance. He's almost boxing himself to a standstill. Froch has got him, and Odin's starting to wobble. Froch's persistence may well have paid off. Odin, leg splayed, is in a wee bit of bother now. Good switch hitting from Froch, moved to the southpaw style, delivered the left.
Excellent timing from Froch, you have to say, Jim.
And a lovely right hand, but back comes Odin. Where is he getting this energy from? Again, Froch, hands held low, a little bit of showboating. Froch toughing himself, but not surprising.
Yeah, he's really had to step up the quality in this round, and he has done. Now he stamps his authority back onto the contest. A much better round for Carl Froch there.
Without a doubt, Carl Froch's best 3 minutes of this contest to date. Looks up at Rob McCracken and probably thinks to himself, well, I hope you're going to give me a little bit of praise for that round. And towards the end of the round, the man across the ring from him, Valery Odin, his mouth was open, there was a little bit of blood coming. He has pushed Froch all the way. That was a wicked looking attempt at an uppercut. Froch did well to get out of the way. And this is beautiful footwork from Carl Froch. David Walker just at ringside, up out of his feet, to praise his stablemate for that. But full marks to Odin. Froch turned beautifully and shortened that right hand, just pulled the elbow back about 6 inches and delivered that perfect little pop punch right on the chin. And there was a second one there which travelled an even shorter distance, and that's the one that really hurt Odin at the end of that round. Great finish by Froch.
Come on, Froch, you put them together. Move that chin to that chest. And don't let it stop it.
5 hard rounds for Carl Froch. And one must remember, despite the distinguished nature of his amateur career, this is just his 6th professional contest.
Right.
Once again, Froch doing the right thing, keeping out of the way and landing with shots. And Odin now, I think, is starting to tire because he's holding on, Richie, quite deliberately.
Well, he is tiring, and also Froch is he's up the work rate with his feet, actually, because what he's doing is he sidesteps are excellent. The timing is absolutely perfect. There again, look, and then he's turned his opponent, and then he's attacked with the right hand. But before he was holding the feet, he was getting caught, but now he's moving the feet much more, sidesteps, and Odin just cannot adjust his boxing.
And Odin battering away but having no effect at all on Froch. He hasn't landed a meaningful shot in this round. There was a right, wasn't too bad, just as I said that. Holding and hitting. Froch a little bit annoyed with that. He won't thank one of his current sparring partners. That wonderful left from Froch. Beautiful shot. Moving away in reverse gear, leaned back and delivered as sweet a left as you're going to see. Well, that's the sign of a very classy boxer, somebody who can soak up the punishment and produce one single shot, and Odin now is in trouble. Odin could well be getting stopped for the 3rd time in his professional career, and it started with that left hand, and Froch now simply oozing confidence. And all the battle has gone out of Valery Odin, and the referee, I think, is going to have a good look at him. Still a minute to go to the end of this round. And Odin, a lot, in fact, indeed, most of the strength has drained from him. Froch has got him again. Froch is going to do this in front of his home crowd. The referee must step in. Good decision. Froch has won it. Had to work so hard. But towards the end of the last round, and certainly in this round, Froch really came through when it mattered most. It was a real battle for Carl Froch. Mick Hennessy, who was on his feet, may have been a little bit anxious, but now he's delighted, and he certainly will be very relieved. And Froch will say, well, there was never any doubt on this, but Valery Odin gave Froch an awful lot of trouble in the opening 3 or 4 rounds, mainly through his tactics, and he swarmed all over the younger man, but the mark of class really came through, and Carl Froch has deserved that one, Richie.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic left hook that first started it off. It really was a landslide that started the landslide. It was on the retreat. Utter class, that punch was. Superb.
Valery Odin in the corner, getting a little bit of treatment. No complaints at all. He gave it, well, everything he had, but Carl Froch ultimately had that little bit extra skill and had what most professional boxers need. He had the old equalizer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes, 15 seconds of the 6th round, the referee has stopped the contest. His in opinion, Valery Odin in no position to continue. The winner, Nottingham's own Carl Froch.
While family, friends, and a host of admirers have come here to see the homecoming for this fella Carl Froch, and he hasn't disappointed.
Valery Odin.
Decent round of applause for his opponent, Valery Odin, who have made Froch work very hard for the early stages of that particular contest. And Carl Froch has extended his unbeaten record to 6. So 6 contests, 6 wins, and that's the 5th inside the distance, and he had to work harder for that than any other professional contest so far. So onward and upward for Carl Froch, but at the moment it's downward and ringside, and he's going to be speaking as ever with Gary Richardson.
Carl, many congratulations. That was your toughest one today, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It came in light heavyweight, ranked number 9 in the country. Just recently beat a good lad in my weight division, Toxo, ranked number 6 in super middleweight. So that was a tough fight, but as you say, I got him out of there.
What did you learn from it? I guess first thing, stamina. I know you've sparred a good few rounds. You've sparred 8 rounds, you were telling me the other day, but you learn that when you get into the ring, it's different again, isn't it? The real contest.
Oh, definitely. I know that anyway, but my fitness is there. What I was doing early on was, to be fair, I mean, my trainer, Robert McCracken, spotted it. I was having a little breather, waiting for my moment, and later on it came, and there was the finish. But the fitness is definitely a lot hard. It's got to be there in the pro ranks, as opposed to the amateurs. But as soon as I start stepping in with the combinations, I get rid of him.
Yeah. Okay, the best moment, I guess, was the knockdown. We can show you. Just give us your verdict on it. You gave him a real whack. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's a left hook straight on the chin as he comes in. He was leaning in with a very lazy defence, so I just exposed it, and down he went.
Yeah. Robbie was a game opponent, wasn't he, Rob McCracken?
Yeah, Valery's a tremendous pro, you know, he's as tough as they come and he wins, he beats good fighters, but listen, this kid's something special, you know, he's going to go on to become huge, Carl Froch is, and that's the first time people have really realised that tonight when they've seen this performance. But this kid's going to be massive, trust me.
Okay, we will trust you. We hope you're right. Rob, Carl, a final question. You've spoken in the past about taking on the likes of the Robin Reeds and the David Starry. Would you revise that at all at this stage? Do you feel still as confident?
The only thing I said about not taking them on at this level was my fitness and getting the rounds under the belt, and this is exactly what I'm doing here. There was 6 good rounds and a good finish at the end against a stronger opponent, so that's obviously building towards them kind of opponents. But no, I wouldn't re-revise it. I definitely want to look towards that in the future. And just say a big thanks to the Forest team. They're here tonight at ringside, and all the supporters from Nottingham that come to see me tonight. Thanks very much.
I was going to say that was a nice evening finally, wasn't it? All the fans cheering your name. You get a buzz from that.
Absolutely, the fans are fantastic. They've all turned out for me tonight, and I've done it for them, and I'm going to do it again for them in the future and start bringing some titles back to Nottingham.
Carl, well done. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Carl, well done.